Hey people, this is my video rundown of things in entertainment news that interested me over the past week. There hasn't been anything like really huge that's come out, but there has been some pretty cool stuff, so let's get into it. There's a trailer out for the documentary on the life of Stan Lee, and if you're not very familiar with who Stan Lee is, he created a lot of the really iconic Marvel characters, and he really had a major influence on the comic book industry and probably entertainment in general. So, the documentary kind of focuses on his whole life, like the time of when he was actually writing these characters, and also his current life, and kind of shows some of his personal life with his wife, Joan Lee, who was the voice of Madam Web on the Spider-Man animated series of the 90s, if you watch that. So, it looks like it's going to be pretty entertaining, and I'm interested in seeing this. So, check the link in the description if you want to see more about that. Apparently some storyboards have leaked for the cancelled Spider-Man 4. You probably know that they were going to go ahead and make Spider-Man 4, which would continue the story of Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, but that just kind of got derailed and they ended up deciding to reboot it, which is how we got to The Amazing Spider-Man, which is coming out this summer. But anyway, I'm not exactly sure how reliable the source is that has posted these storyboards, but it seems to be pretty legitimate, and the scene shown has Peter being evicted from his apartment, and you can see in this storyboard here we've got Peter and the awkward daughter of his landlord, who you might remember from the second two movies. She didn't really serve much purpose, she just kind of popped in every now and then, like, "Hey Pete, do you want to come over and eat some cookies?" And she just kind of awkwardly stared at him. I don't know, but anyway, she's in this scene, and I don't know. I've kind of torn on the whole Spider-Man 4 thing, because a lot of people really just rip Spider-Man 3 apart, and there have been a lot of criticism said about Spider-Man 3, but I think my biggest personal fault of the movie is that it didn't really give you something that it really wanted to push toward in the next movie. I feel like it wrapped up a lot of its stories, and yeah, you've got kind of Peter's relationship with Mary Jane, which was hanging in the balance there, but in terms of setting up for a sequel, it didn't do much of that. They killed off Venom, and I feel that if they had kind of left Venom for a Spider-Man 4 instead of forcing him into this movie, it would have been like, oh, well, I want to see what happens in this story when this guy's got the symbiote. But instead, we've just got a story that's like, okay, this trilogy has told its story, and now you just want to make more. So I don't know. I guess we'll never know how the Spider-Man 4 would have turned out, but hopefully The Amazing Spider-Man turns out well. Recently, Mark Millar gave some interesting information about the potential film sequel to Kick-Ass. He said that there's going to be a Hitgirl comic book series that runs for about 5 issues and tells the story in between the first series and the second comic book series of Kick-Ass. So the film sequel to Kick-Ass would combine the stories of the Hitgirl comic and the Kick-Ass 2 comic to just tell that whole story. And right at this point, I'm not sure if I really want to see the Kick-Ass film sequel. I really did enjoy the first Kick-Ass, but right now, as I'm reading Kick-Ass 2, I'm not sure if it would translate that well into a film. The Hitgirl comic series might be better, and it might make a more convincing argument that it should be a film, but right now, I kind of want to see another Kick-Ass movie, but I don't want to see a bad Kick-Ass movie that'll just kind of run it into the ground and just kind of taint the image of the first movie. The CW is planning on doing a Green Arrow television series, but it will not be the Smallville spin-off that a lot of fans have been hoping for. Nobody involved in Smallville is connected to this project, and it's just a completely new interpretation of the character. Which I think is kind of odd because Green Arrow is a pretty obscure character. So to pick him out of all the DC Comics characters to have his own television series and then not choose to connect to Smallville and maybe try to pick up some of those fans who are longing to see that universe continued and follow some of those characters that they've been watching for a while just seems like an odd decision to me. But hopefully this series will turn out to be a new good comic book series on television. DC Comics has decided to change their logo from this, the logo they've been using for a few years now, to this. I really don't like this new logo at all. I think that the old logo had some color to it, it was flashy, and it just felt appropriate for a comic book publisher. With the new 52 and everything, they've been trying to be more modern, more cool, and just kind of change their image a little bit. So I feel like that's the motivation behind this and what they were shooting for with this new logo. But to me, it's not modern or cool or anything. It just looks boring and plain. It doesn't look like a comic book publisher's logo. It looks like a post-it note manufacturer's logo or an ink manufacturer. It just doesn't fit to me, and I hope that they change it soon because I really prefer the old logo. Now I've got a bunch of movie stills to show you. Here's a picture from Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Men in Black 3, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Hobbit, and a bunch of pictures from The Dark Knight Rises. That's really all I've got for you this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time.